Hey guys, all right. Welcome to, let's call it weight loss day, shall we? All right. So every Wednesday, as you know, we are going live here in the group, and every Tuesday, I will post a poll, giving you a couple of options of what you want to hear the most about, and there's always the option there to leave your own as well. So this week, what got the most votes is why do some women seem to be able to keep weight off almost effortlessly? And it's not going to be what you think. I don't think. They do not have magic special genetics. They are not taking a magic pill. I can almost assure you they're not counting calories or doing lots of cardio. The difference really comes down to this: they do not have an all or nothing mindset, is number one. So many of us women over the years have become chronic dieters, and we do something that helps us lose weight. Let's take one as an example is keto, because that's a very popular one. So you'll do keto, which basically is very low or no carbs, and you can't stick to it forever, right? But you lose some weight in the beginning, and so you think it works for you. And so when you inevitably go off of it and regain the weight, you think, well, keto works for me. It worked for me last time, so let me do it again. So you do it again, you lose some weight, inevitably gain it back, then go back on it or try a calorie restricted diet or try something like that. The main difference of why some women can keep the weight off seemingly effortlessly is because they do not have an all or nothing mentality. What they do is, excuse me, they figure out the few things that matter the most, because not everything matters with weight loss. And that's one of the problems. We think we need to overhaul our entire lives because that's what we've been taught in order to lose weight. And that is simply not true. Some things matter a lot, some things don't matter that much at all. And I'm going to give you an example. When you do, for example, a calorie restricted diet, they're really difficult to stick to as well. That does not take into account the reactions that certain foods have on our body. Some foods, as an example, like if you're dieting, you notice you're starving, you can't stick with it. So you're using a willpower approach, and willpower never works. Never, 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 never works, because willpower is a finite resource. We only have so much of it every day. So you may notice you're doing like good all day on your diet, and then by the end of the day, you kind of fall off and you get hungry and you go off the rails and you eat whatever. And that's why you can't stick to it. Willpower is a finite resource. We run out of it by the end of the day. And that's why you can be good all day and then fall off at night. So instead, what you want to do is figure out what's going to give me the most bang for my buck and just focus on those things only. Now, the weight will come off slower, but it will stay off once it comes off. As an example, some foods regulate our hunger hormones and some make them worse. And so this is why I get so frustrated when people do these calorie restricted diets, because a simple calorie deficit diet, which I hear constantly and I'm sure you do too, does not take into account the reaction that that food has on your body. And one of those that we don't hear that much about, which is wild because it's everything, is the effects that certain foods have on our hunger hormones. So some foods, you eat them and you feel satiated and you feel like you've had enough to eat and your body signals to you that you're full. Then you move on with your day. Other foods, you can eat a ton of them, but they can trick your body into thinking that you're still hungry. So you're still eating more of them even when you've had plenty. And this is when people tend to overeat. Other ones can cause food cravings. Other ones can squash food cravings. Like the quality of the food and the reaction it has on our body is everything. But it's not as sexy and fancy, so people don't buy into it. People want to buy the next shiny object, right? Like ditch carbs and you'll, lose 10 pounds in the next 10 days. That sounds like fancy marketing. But anyway, so the reason some women can keep weight off seemingly effortlessly is because they know where to place their focus. They know what foods are going to work with their hormones. They're going to make them feel full when they've had enough. and they're going to focus on those foods. So you never feel deprived. You're able to stick to it. It's going to give you even energy through the day. Another thing we really need to recognize as well is that women at our age in perimenopause and menopause, things change and our hormones change. And one of those is we tend to become more resistant to insulin at this age. And we really need to pay attention to that and eat for that. So, not just cutting calories for the sake of cutting calories because we did it in our 20s and 30s and 1,200 calories a day helped us lose weight. At this age, that can really mess us up and keep weight on the body. So instead, we want to eat in a way that tells our body to utilize our food as energy instead of storing it as fat. And again, over the age of 40, we become more sensitive to, less sensitive to insulin, so more insulin resistance, which means we can eat the same amount of food as we did in our 20s and 30s, and instead of our body utilizing it as energy, it's going to just store it as fat. So then we end up thinking we're broken, and that's simply not the case. We just need a different approach. So women that keep weight off effortlessly, they know where to place their focus. They don't need to overhaul their entire life to do it, and that's what makes it sustainable. Some stuff is garbage and just fancy marketing, and it doesn't work, and it gets exhausting, and that's why people don't stick to it. Other things work like gangbusters. So focus only on the things that matter. That's what makes it easy to implement as habits into your lifestyle. Even if you are losing weight slowly, don't jump ship and jump to the next shiny object because that's going to keep you in a cycle of yo-yo dieting. So a lot of it comes down to knowing the fundamentals, knowing where to focus your time for best results, and then having the mindset to be patient while it happens. And then you just need to ask yourself, do I want to lose the weight quickly only to regain it, only to go back into the cycle again? Or do I want to go a little bit slower, know where to place my focus, not overhaul my entire life and put them as habits into my lifestyle? That's what's going to get you your most results. And in the beginning, when you're losing the weight, you got to be a little more tight. And then once you get to your ideal weight, you can go into a maintenance, which is more of like an 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time you still do the things which are effortless to you now because you've made them part of your lifestyle. And then 20% of the time you can allow for life. And that's also going to make it maintainable because you don't have to give up your favorite things and your evenings out with your family and friends and your vacations, and you can enjoy your life a little bit and loosen up. It is not an all or nothing mentality. That's one of the keys for lasting, sustainable weight loss and why some women can do it seemingly effortlessly and others seem to struggle because they get impatient and they're jumping from quick fix to quick fix, and it's a cycle, and we don't want to be stuck in that anymore, especially as women at our age, which it can make weight loss more difficult overall. Anyway, I hope that helps you guys. Drop your comments below of what you found most helpful, something you want to know most about. And again, next Tuesday I will post a poll as well with a couple of options of what you want to hear most about, and there is always an option for you to drop your own also. Cool. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I hope that helps and answers